Hi, I'm Jen from Acadian Accounting Education, and today we're going to take a look at a reconciliation report. So, if you would like to grab a copy of the exercise, be sure to click on the link in the description, and let's get started. All right, let's reconcile and look at that report. Now, this exercise is coming from our Level 1 ProAdvisor certification course, which, if you would like more information about that course after we go through the exercise, be sure to click on the link in the description. But let's dive in and read through today's scenario. As a bookkeeper, your primary responsibility is to ensure that all financial transactions are correctly categorized and match the flow of money into and out of the bank. You have just received the monthly statement from Craig's Bank. Now it is time to confirm that all the transactions have been correctly added to and categorized in QuickBooks Online. Now, you'll need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company here on the left side of my screen. Once you sign in, this is what it will look like. So let's get started with the exercise. We first need to reconcile. So to get to that page, we want to click on Accountant Tools and then select Reconcile. Now, Accountant Tools is on the top of the screen. Click on that. And then under Quick Links is Reconcile. Now, note that you only have Accountant Tools because you are an accountant user. If your client Craig were going to reconcile the books themselves, he would just hover over Transactions and then select Reconcile. Both of those places would take you to the exact same page here. Now, if this is your first time reconciling, you will receive these welcome messages. It's just information about this area. We're going to click on Get Started. And then this pop-up right here is we want to click on Let's Get Started. Now, after you have reconciled for the first time, you will not see those screens anymore. For the remainder of this exercise, you're going to need to refer to the sample bank statement. So go ahead and click on that link to have it come up for you. I have it here. This is what it will look like once you download it and open it up. This is what you will see. All right, so keep that bank statement handy as you are going to need it a lot in this exercise. To get started here, we are going to be reconciling the checking account, so that's fine. In the statement ending balance, we want to enter the ending balance that's found on the bank statement. So if I zoom in a little bit, we can see that the ending balance is this $3,890.89. So I'm going to go ahead and click into here and type that. 38, 38.90.89. 38.90.89. There we go. In the statement ending date field, we are going to use the last day of the previous month. Now, normally you would just use the date that is here on the bank statement. It is just showing as period ending last month because the sample company is always changing their dates. So rather than using something specific, we are keeping it very generic. So I am recording this video in March. And so for me, the last day of last month will be February 28th. You can choose the date that works for you based off of what day you are doing this. So for me, I'm just going to go back 1 month and then click on the 28th of February. Again, depending on when you're doing this, your date may be different. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and click on Start Reconciling. And you will come to this screen. Now, if you have never reconciled before, it is going to probably look a little intimidating and a little confusing. So let's go ahead and break it down so you understand what all of the components are on this page. So the first thing that you'll notice here is this beginning balance. This is the ending balance from the last time that you reconciled. It cannot be changed. So the sample company has it already set as $5,000. This is assuming that you've reconciled. This would be the ending balance from the last time it was reconciled. Then we have the statement ending balance. This is the amount that we just entered on the previous screen and what would be found on the bank statement. Now, if for whatever reason you realize that this balance or this ending date are not in fact correct, you could just click on this Edit Info button and make the adjustment. Next to each transaction, if I scroll over here, you will see that there are all of these circles. Now, you will have a blue check mark if the transaction has already been marked as cleared. So, if you are processing the bank feeds, which you should do before you reconcile, you'll see a bunch of blue check marks that would look something similar to this right here. Now, once a transaction has been checked, it's going to be added to the total payments and deposits. As you can see, I currently have this one checked, so the payment for $300 is showing here in this payment right here. I'm going to uncheck that. Then we have the cleared balance, and the cleared balance is just the beginning balance minus the combination of the payments and deposits. That is what the cleared balance is. And then the difference right here is the statement ending balance minus the cleared balance equals the difference. The ultimate goal of reconciling is to check off the transactions until this difference becomes zero. Once it becomes zero, then you know that everything is matching properly from the bank statement to the QBO transactions. Now, one final note here. Currently, there is a filter to show only transactions that are before the statement ending date. So it'll show it for on that statement ending date or before. If you are looking for a transaction when you are doing books for clients and you can't find them, it is likely that it has an incorrect date. So you would just turn off this filter by clicking on the X. These type of transactions are often referred to as rogue or hidden transactions, and they just need to have the date adjusted accordingly. So if that becomes a problem in client books when you're reconciling, try clicking out of that filter and see if your transaction comes up. All right, so in the remaining steps of this exercise, we are going to complete the reconciliation by checking each transaction until the difference is zero. If you already checked any of the blue check marks, make sure you uncheck them so that it is showing as 0 and 0 under the payments and deposits. All right, so let's take a look at the bank statement and find and check all of the matching deposits. So I'm going back here to the bank statement. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now, sometimes banks will just have everything in order based off of date. It's not going to be dividing it out in any way. And then other banks will divide it in this way. Well, they'll have this grouped out by deposits, by checks, by other debits. There's lots of ways that it can be done. Now, because this bank statement has the deposits here, scroll over a little bit, has the deposits here listed all on its own. First, let's go ahead and adjust how we have it showing here in QBO. So if you click on this deposits tab right here, you will only see the deposits here for you will only see the deposits here, not everything. All right, so let's go ahead and look at compare the bank statement to QBO. So the first transaction is this $175 deposit check. So let's take a look at that. That happens to be the first one from Bill's Windsurf Shop. Click on that circle. Then we have a $86.40 deposit check. That's the next one, which is from Freedom Sporting Goods. So click on that. Then we have an ACH deposit from Kate Whalen for $225, which I believe is the next one that is showing right here. So go ahead and click on that. Then we have a deposit check for $105. Let's take a look. It is the next one from Amy's Bird Sanctuary. Then the next one is for $694. Deposit check once again. That one is right here next from Cool Cars. Go ahead and click on that. And then one final deposit for $337.50. That deposit check is from Dylan Solfrank. So that is the next one. Click on that checkbox or that circle. All right, so we have finished all the deposits. Let's move on to the checks. Now we need to get out of the deposits and let's click on payments rather than seeing everything. Let's only take a look at the payments. And then we want to group this by type. So go ahead and click on the type here. Scroll down, and now we are going to see only the checks here at the bottom. So it'll make it a little bit easier rather than trying to go through all the transactions to find them. So once again, we're going to use the sample bank statement to find them and then click the circle to have show that the transaction is cleared. All right, so let's start here. The first check is check number 2 for 1808. And that one went to Mahoney Mugs. You can see that right here. This is telling you to type, and this reference number field tells you the check number. So that's how we know that that is the correct one, plus the payment is matching too. Then we have check 4 for 54.55. Check 454.55 is to Chin's Gas and Oil. Then we have check 5 for $62.01. So that is also to Chin's Gas and Oil. So go ahead and click on that. And then we have check number 12 for $55. And that is right here. That's for Books by Bessie. So go ahead and click on that circle. We have check 69 for $100, excuse me. There is no check 69, but this one is for $100. So let's come back to that one. Check off this next one, and then we'll come back to it. And the last one is check 70 for $185, and that is once again to Chin's Gas and Oil. Now, as we saw here, there is one check that is missing, the check number right here. We can be relatively certain that this is the check 69 because it is for the exact same amount, $100 here and $100 here. Now, if we had access to the bank records, we could just view the check image and confirm this. So for the purpose of this exercise, we're just going to assume that it is correct, but let's go ahead and edit the transaction to include the check number. So go ahead and click on his line right there, Tony's line. In this blank box in the reference number column, go ahead and click into it and type 69. And then you can go ahead and click on the Save button. And then make sure that you click the circle next to that line to mark it as cleared. All right, so now we have done the checks. Let's move on to the remaining debits. So let's put this back in order by date, the way that it originally started. So we're going to click on date, and it'll put it in chronological order, starting with the most recent dates. Let's click on date one more time so that we are seeing the oldest transactions here at the top. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the bank statement and see where our matches are. So it looks like we have two for Robertson and Associates, the first one for $300 and the second one for $250. So those happen to be these top two right here. Click those circles. Then we have one for the Board of Equalization for $38.50. So let's go back here. We can see that there are two sales tax payments and they are very, very similar, only off by 10 cents. Now, we want to check the one that matches the bank statement, which is this 3850. If this were a real life scenario, you would want to investigate what happened here. We're going to, for the purpose of this exercise, ignore it, but you would want to make sure that these are not duplicates, or maybe it is the same, or it's from two different sales tax payments that just happen to be extremely similar. So if you see something that looks very similar, same type of transaction, maybe the same type of vendor or same vendor and similar amount, you may want to just investigate and make sure that it is legitimate. All right, so let's continue on here. We have Tanya's Nursery for $89.09. So that is right here, this expense. Then we have $250 for Hicks Hardware. So this bill payment for $250. Then we have Tanya's Nursery for $108.09. So one right here, this expense 15. Then we have another one from Hicks Hardware for $24.38. So this is expense 8. Now this one says $24.36, not 38 cents. So it's only off by 2 cents, but they need to match. Now, except in rare cases, the bank is always correct. So we're going to want to correct this transaction in QBO, and we'll do that after we go through the rest of the transactions. So let's skip it for the moment. Squeaky Clean Car Wash for $19.99. So that one is right here. You will also notice here that there is another one down here for Squeaky Clean Car Wash for $19.99. Now, this one says that it's a check. Um, if this were a real life scenario, you really want to make sure that you are clicking on the correct one because these both have different dates. Okay, so when you are reconciling, you need to look at the amount, the dates, the vendor or the payee, just so you make sure that you are clicking on the correct one. All right, so now we have Bob's Burger Joint for $5.66. So that's right there. Then Chin's Gas and Oil once again for $52.14. So let's do that next. We have one for Hall Properties for $900. So let's click on that. I happen to know that there is a payment, I think in some, it's not on this one, but yeah, once again, there is a $900 payment that I've seen in here before. So definitely make sure that you are clicking on the one that is the same amount, same vendor. And if there were dates here in the sample company that matched, we would use dates as well. So making sure you're matching up all those details is super, super important. All right, so now we have two left. Hicks Hardware once again for $215.66. So that is right here. And then final one is Bob's Burger Joint for $3.86. So let's go ahead and click on that one. All right, so now we have a difference of $24.38, which happens to match the amount of that transaction that we are missing that needs to be adjusted here from Hicks Hardware. So let's go ahead and make the adjustment to make sure that the transaction matches what is on the bank statement. So click on the Hicks Hardware transaction. And then in the payment field right here, we want to adjust this to say 2438. And then you can click on the green save button. And then we're going to scroll back over and up and click on the circle. And you'll notice that as soon as you do, that the difference becomes 0. So you know now that everything has matched properly. So congratulations, you have reconciled the account. Let's go ahead and click on the green Finish Now button. And you will get this pop up here. Don't close out of it yet. In a real life scenario, you would have the opportunity to attach a statement right here. This is not a feature here in the sample company, so there's nothing here, but just know that you could do that in a real life scenario. You will also notice that there were some transactions that were in here that were unchecked, and that is because transactions clear the bank at different times when they are entered in when they are entered in QBO. This is usually not an issue, but if you find a transaction has not been cleared after a few months, you might want to take some time to investigate it. All right, so now that we have reconciled, we can now look at the reconciliation report. So let's go ahead and click on View Reconciliation Report. And once you do, you will see a report that shows you in detail what it is that you just did. Now, there is an opportunity here to print this report out if you wanted to. You would just simply click on this printer icon on the top right corner of the report to do so. Now, let's say after looking at the report, you realize that you need to undo the reconciliation. You could do that from the screen, but you could do that from the screen. So in order to do that, you want to click on History by Account right here. If you get any pop-ups like this, just go ahead and click out of them. And then here is the reconciliation that we just did. Now, in order to undo it, there is this down arrow right here that you could click to expand the drop down, and then you can make a selection to undo it. Now, here in the sample company, you don't have this option, and so that's why you're not seeing it here. But just know that that is how you would go about undoing that reconciliation. So that's it. That's how you reconcile, and then take a look at that reconciliation report. Now, if you like this exercise and you would like to do more like it, or you would like more information about that Level 1 ProAdvisor certification course, be sure to click on the link in the description, and I will see you next time.